Ben?
No.
What time is it, Ben?
No, Johnny.
Say it!
I don't wanna!
Say it!
Marvel finally took a risk, and Fantastic Four might have just saved the MCU. Here's why it works, where it stumbles, and what it actually means for the MCU. What works? This movie actually surprised me in a good way. Let's start with the obvious. Galactus. He's huge, not just in size, but in impact. He's not just there to look cool, he actually means something in the story. The way they built him up, the way he shows up. It's big, but it's not empty. You feel the scale and the tension. It's not just destruction for the sake of it. He's more like this unstoppable force that changes everything the second he appears, and this time, you can see him. He's not some vague shape or shadow. This is Galactus, front and center. And then there's Franklin Richards. When I first heard they were putting a baby in the middle of the plot, I rolled my eyes. But it works. He's not just there to be cute or raise the stakes. You can tell the movie actually cares about him and what he represents. Not just as a plot device, but as a symbol of the future, the family, and what's really at stake. The visuals are also way better than I expected. And I'm not just talking about the effects. The whole world feels more thought out, like someone actually cared about how this place looks and works. The retro 60s vibe mixed with all the cosmic stuff gives the movie a style that actually stands out. It doesn't feel like every other Marvel movie, and that's a good thing. And then the score. The music really carries the emotional moments. Michael Giacchino just gets it. You'll hear stuff that reminds you of Lost or Inside Out, but also some new stuff that gives the movie its own identity. People are clearly showing up for this too. It's tracking for somewhere between $125 to $145 million in its first U.S. weekend. And it's already made about $23 million in preview screenings, making it the biggest preview night of the year so far. Characters and casting. The cast here really works, and it's not in a flashy or forced way, but in a way that feels lived in. It's the first time in a while that a Marvel team actually feels like a team. Pedro Pascal's Reed Richards is probably going to split people. He plays him very restrained, like super logical, kind of cold. But that makes sense for Reed. He's not a guy who leads with emotion. What makes it interesting is watching how that creates friction with the rest of the group, especially Sue. Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm is probably the heart of the movie. She's calm, sharp, and emotionally grounded in a way that balances out Reed. It's clear from the start that she's not just the female character in the team, she's the glue. When stuff gets heavy, you look to her. Ebon Moss-Bachrach plays Ben Grimm, and he brings something different to The Thing. He's more thoughtful, more internal, not just gruff or angry all the time. The motion capture works too. It's not distracting, and it lets him actually act through the effects. Johnny Storm brings the energy you'd expect, but he's not over the top or annoying. The dynamic between him and Ben feels natural, like two people who've known each other forever. There's a little teasing, but there's real love under it. And then there's Julia Garner as the Silver Surfer, or technically, Shalla-Bal. She's not in the movie as much as the trailers make it seem, but when she shows up, you really feel her presence. Her scenes feel intense and weird in a good way, and they add to the cosmic scale without taking over the story. Altogether, the team dynamic just clicks. It doesn't feel like four famous actors thrown into superhero suits. It feels like a family that's been through things, and that matters here. Vibe, tone, and visuals. This movie has a really specific feel to it, and that's actually one of its biggest strengths. It's not loud or chaotic like some of the more recent Marvel stuff. This one takes its time, and the vibe is more like Interstellar or The Martian than Ant-Man or Guardians. It's spacey and thoughtful, but still has that Marvel weirdness when it needs it. The 1960s setting also makes a huge difference. Everything, from the costumes to the way people talk, helps sell the world. And because the world already feels a little stylized and retro, it makes the comic book stuff easier to accept. Like when the Silver Surfer shows up, or when Herbie rolls in, it doesn't feel random or silly. It fits the world they've built. And speaking of the world, Universe 8, 2-8 looks great. It's colorful, but not cartoonish. There's texture and detail in almost every shot. You can tell the production design team went hard on this. And yeah, a lot of it's digital, obviously, but it doesn't come off like that. It actually feels like a place, not just a green screen with lights on it. If you catch it in IMAX, there are a few moments, especially when Galactus appears, where you just kind of sit back and take it in. The scale is huge, but it doesn't feel fake or overwhelming. It's just big in a way that makes you feel small, but in a good way. Even the sound design stands out. From the quieter family moments to the massive cosmic stuff, it's balanced. It actually helps you stay in the world instead of pulling you out of it. So yeah, whether you care about visual effects or not, this movie feels good to watch. Most importantly, it has its own identity, and that goes a long way. What falls short? Okay, so this movie does a lot right, but it's not perfect. And you can definitely feel that in the first act. The beginning is a little slow, it takes a while to really start, there's a lot of setup, a lot of backstory, and not a ton of urgency. But it's not boring. There's charm in the way they introduce the world, but it kind of feels like the movie's still stretching its legs for the first 30 or 40 minutes. Another thing is the supporting characters. Some of them just don't have much to do. For example, Natasha Lyonne's character barely leaves an impression. Nothing against her, she's great, but the script doesn't give her much to work with. It feels like parts of her subplot might have been cut or trimmed down in the edit. There are also one or two CGI moments that stand out, and not in a good way. It's rare, but there are scenes where it looks like the effects were rushed or unfinished. Nothing that ruins the movie, but they do pull you out for a second. And depending on what kind of Marvel fan you are, the tone might throw you off. The movie leans way more into emotional beats and sci-fi problem-solving than action, especially early on. There is action later, and it's great, but this isn't one of those MCU movies that opens with a fight scene and never stops. That's not what this is going for. And some people might be surprised by that. None of that breaks the movie, but it adds up if you're expecting something faster-paced or more traditional. Marvel. Final verdict. Fantastic Four. First Steps isn't just better than expected. It actually feels like it has a point. It's not just there to connect the dots or set up the next movie. It's a real story with real emotional weight. And that's what Marvel's been missing lately. It's bold, it's weird, and it doesn't care if every choice is safe, and I think that's why it works. The visuals are top tier. The score carries real emotion. The family dynamic actually feels human. And Galactus isn't just a villain, he has real presence. And that gives the movie a reason to exist. Now, is it perfect? No. Like I mentioned earlier, the first act is slow. Some characters get sidelined, and not everyone's going to click with the slower, more thoughtful tone. But even with those flaws, this is still one of the most intentional Marvel movies we've seen in a while. Right now, it's sitting at 88% on Rotten Tomatoes, and you can see why. If you're a deep Marvel fan, there's a lot here for you. If you're just someone who wants a good sci-fi movie with emotional weight and great visuals, this is absolutely worth seeing on the big screen. If you've already seen it, let us know what you think. If you're about to, check out our video on everything you need to know before watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.